Style, speed, and precision. Israel the Stylebender Adesanya, former middleweight champion of the world, with 5 title defenses and over 100 recorded wins.
Adesanya! Back elbow. It's Israel Adesanya is the undisputed king of the middleweight. And I would say a star is born, but this star was born alone.
Yet this fight, this moment, meant more than all of them combined.
Everybody in this mixed martial arts arena and in the mixed martial arts world.
Limit him to southpaw.
Again. The hand is so dangerous.
And then came the knockout, a moment that shook the world. But it was what followed, the words that echoed through the arena, that truly resonated.
I hope all of you can feel how happy I am just one time in your life. But guess what? You will never feel this level of happiness if you don't go for something in your own life. When they knock you down, when they try on you, when they talk about you, and they try to put their foot on your neck. If you stay down, you will never ever get that resolve. Fortify your mind.
Fortify your mind, a statement that spoke volumes. But why did this fight carry such weight? To truly understand, we must journey back in time to uncover how Israel Adesanya became the legendary Stylebender.
History!
Israel was born and raised in Lagos, Nigeria, surrounded by a loving family. His father, mother, and 4 siblings. At just 10 years old, Izzy got his first taste of combat in a taekwondo after-school club.
I did taekwondo as a kid, got to yellow belt.
How did I get into martial arts? Well, I did taekwondo as a kid back in Nigeria. I was about to get my yellow belt literally about, say, 3 weeks from my yellow belt.
But his fiery spirit led to him causing trouble in the house, and his training was cut short.
My mom pulled me out because I started kicking everything in the house.
Then my mom decided, nah, you're a nuisance in the house. I'm doing backflips off the couch.
Broke my arm. Broke my arm and a lot of stuff.
Kicking vases, breaking windows. It was really good, but she didn't think so.
After a brief stint in Ghana, his family moved to New Zealand, seeking better educational opportunities.
So when did your family move from Nigeria, and was there any particular reason why they came to New Zealand?
We moved from Nigeria in 2001, October, and that's when we first came to New Zealand, pretty much for better recognized tertiary education.
Life was good, the children were doing well, but we decided we needed an overseas experience for the children, especially because of their education. So we decided that we were going to migrate, just for the better life.
But New Zealand was not what Izzy expected, and he faced difficulties there.
So the guy brimming with confidence was once a skinny kid who was bullied in high school.
But when I look at you now, dog, 6'3", 6'4", 185, the best stand-up in the game, I was like,
yes, sir.
This dude been beating up people his whole life. But
Yeah.
It wasn't like that for you in New Zealand. You said it was tough. What was that move like for you?
Culture shock mostly was realizing that being black was a problem, you know, especially in a small town. I was like, what? Like, why? Like, you know, people would just try and be mean to you for no reason. And I was like,
you know, I never knew like people would, you know, I guess discriminate against me because of my skin tone.
What were those dark times like? Like you say that you didn't know you were black. That's a phrase that caught
yeah,
me.
because I knew my skin was dark, but I didn't know it was a problem until like you're walking home and kids on the bus start insulting you, you know, making monkey noises and shit like that. You're like, do I even know these kids?
Izzy spent most of his time in the school library, where he immersed himself in comics, manga, and anime.
I spent most of my time in the library during lunch times, I think in Form 3. Yeah, just because it's safe in the library.
In the library, I read all the comics that they had of Kelvin and Hobbes. And they're in the box, just chilling, or like doing something, playing around. And it's like the power of imagination. So from two of my favorite animes, Avatar and Naruto.
Despite his efforts to avoid conflict, trouble always found him. And one day, after being pushed too far, he decided enough was enough.
I even told of a famous story I've told before is of a kid who kept on riding by my house on the weekend.
You know, at my house, in the weekend, he took time out of his fucking day on a Saturday and like, go back to your country, Blackanese.
Go back to your country, Blackanese. Country, Blackanese. And I was just like, I've seen this kid at school, but I don't know him. He don't know me enough to have a problem with me.
And then drive by again and say, oh, you black this, you blah, blah, blah. And I was
joking.
I was just like, did I do something to this kid?
The next week at school, so there was K block, this is Rotor Intermediate, K block, and I think B block or J block or something. And this was after interval. He kind of walked up to me. He was shorter than me as well, and I was a small kid, but it was like a Napoleon syndrome or whatever. He just came up to me and like, what a black boy, and just pushed me. And I might have been having a bad day. And I remember I just lost it and I snapped.
And I remember just wailing on him, just threw him to his K block, beat his ass, threw his B block, beat his ass. And I was crying the whole time, just beating him up. And I wasn't a fighter back then, but I was just fed up and pissed off.
Leave me alone. I just ran away and went to go hide for like 30 minutes or so till the teacher found me.
Most of this thing, when it happened, he didn't tell us.
A lot of that happened through most of high school as well. And that's kind of, I guess, my desire to want to defend myself came from, was I hated feeling vulnerable in any situation. And I hated feeling like I was helpless.
Determined to defend himself, Izzy started going to the gym, but it was the film On Back that ignited his true fighting journey.
Around the age 17, I watched Ong Bak, Tony Jaa.
Yep.
And this looks really cool. It was a movie that kind of made Muay Thai like mainstream to the world. Man, this is cool. This is different than like, I want to be able to fight like this guy because it looks realistic. I found a Muay Thai gym in my local town I was at, and within 6 weeks, I had my first fight. And then the rest was history from there.
Izzy began training in Muay Thai, but paused his fighting pursuits to explore his passion for dancing. Yet his interest in a fight game just wouldn't go away.
After that, I stopped and I became a dancer for a while, for years actually. One of the best, remember that? Good dancer. So it would have been either fighting or dancing. I would have been great at one of those, honestly. Broken Native, I coined that name when I was younger for a crew that I was running with, a dance crew.
The fighting industry beckoned. UFC pay-per-views became a regular watch. But it was UFC 90 that really caught his attention and introduced him to none other than the legendary Anderson Spider Silva. Finally, a fight he could relate to.
It happened over time, and then I remember when I watched UFC 90 on pay-per-view, Silva versus Cote.
Yep.
And I remember thinking like, man, I could be the best in the world at this. Just watching Silva fight Cote, and I just related to him. So I felt like if he could do that to Patrick Cote, I felt like I could be the best in the world. Anderson was the guy. Like, it was a guy that inspired me to be like, man, this skinny black dude whooping everyone's ass. I'm skinny, I'm black. Yeah. I can whoop ass.
And just like that, that was it. Izzy had made his mind up. His parents couldn't stop him.
And when he was in year 3, one morning he just said he was leaving the house, traveling to Auckland to pursue his fighting career. Of course, we were devastated.
My parents, I told them like, I think a week beforehand, before I moved, so that way they didn't have time to talk me out of it.
And he came into the room one morning to say, I'm out of here, I'm going to Auckland to pursue my fighting career. I said, what? My wife started crying.
What did you think?
Oh my God. And we tried our best to talk him out of it. He was adamant that that was what he wanted to do.
Then they said, okay, just sit with this for a little bit. And I was like, I made my mind up.
But Israel was determined that he was going to go. And when we saw the determination, we made up our mind at that point that, look, win or lose, we have to support this boy. It looks like this is what he wants to do. So we had a deal. And after 3 or 4 weeks, when accommodation and everything was sorted, then he moved out. Moved to City Kickboxing to train with his manager right from day one. And the rest is history.
And I remember even my last job. I remember the day I quit. I remember the feeling. That was September 3rd, 2014. I never looked back.
Izzy moved to Auckland to train under Eugene Behrman at City Kickboxing, alongside other UFC stars such as Alexander Volkanovski, the former featherweight champion, Kai Kara France, and Dan Hooker.
Moved to Auckland to City Kickboxing, and yeah, I think I made probably one of the most important decisions in my life. Made the right move.
And I moved to Auckland, and that's where I met Eugene, who's now my coach.
Yep.
And
amazing coach, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. And he just saw, okay, what I like though, he never tried to make me anything else.
Yeah.
And Eugene, I think, is the mastermind that created the culture around what we do and the way we train. He's the one that organizes everything to make sure that...
Izzy had already been cornered by Eugene in one of his amateur matches. But the fighter standing before Eugene now was different. He was more determined and more focused.
I cornered him in a fight. I didn't know who he was, but a friend asked me to help corner him, and he absolutely got his ass kicked.
It was all right.
So after the fight, we shook hands and then we parted ways. So I never expected to see him again. So when he walked in, I was really surprised.
I still remember when I rolled up to the gym, then you see me, you look like you saw a ghost. But then usually what I liked was he just saw what I could do. I was like a bucking bronco, and he's like, okay, it's a thoroughbred right here.
Yes, he showed talent, but the more important thing that he showed was the commitment and the dedication.
How do you identify a fighter who has the capabilities of being a world champion?
First and foremost, I look for their attitude. Yeah, but more their attitude, their passion.
Yeah.
Like what they have, the love that they have for the sport. Because you can do something with that. He showed heaps of athletic potential. Thought, man, if this guy has the mental fortitude to become a fighter, to become a martial artist, he can go a long way.
And he saw the potential eventually, and then he just he molded the right things. That's why
traditional training alone didn't define Izzy. His breakdancing gave him a competitive edge, adding fluidity, rhythm, and flexibility to his combat style.
Being good at dancing probably helps you fight.
Facts, literally. Like I say, dude, what's his name? Miyamoto Musashi said, never give a man a sword who can't dance. So if you, footwork, rhythm, timing, on beat, off beat, everything, they can't catch me.
Not only that, his love for anime and martial art films like Naruto and Jackie Chan influenced his combat style. These shows and films weren't just entertainment, they were his playbook.
And also Jackie Chan was my guy and was Bruce Lee to me. You know, everyone loved Bruce Lee, but Jackie Chan was the guy that made me look at fighting and look at it fun. Because Jackie Chan was the guy who made me enjoy fight movies like The Drunken Master, Rush Hour, all those movies, because he made fighting seem cool and fun and funny, and he played with it, he was playful. Those are the kind of fighters I like. And also for me, the main thing about anime is the fight scenes. I love the fight scenes, they're so cool, the way they're flowy, they're animated. I just want to emulate that sometimes, and I do.
Anime heroes like Aang, Naruto and Goku, who overcome immense challenges, resonated with Izzy. He adopted their discipline, determination and resilience, carving it into his fighting philosophy.
Where do I start? Naruto is just a kid. Sure, it's a long story, but he's a kid who inspires me just based on the way he was brought up and his willpower. His willpower really inspired me, and his morals that he has for his friends and his family and his code. I'm like Naruto. I'm a very eclectic student.
The Last Stylebender, I coined that name from the TV series, The Avatar. I just related so much to the message and the characters in the show, and it excites me, and I get a lot of inspiration from the stories. If you want, like say, what's a good one? Avatar, you know. The Last Airbender, if you watch that, if you have kids, watch that with your kids.
I draw strength from characters that aren't even real, quote unquote, because they're animated, but they're real to me. To me, it's all about what's in here and what you feel in here. And I can relate to a lot of those guys more than I can to some of the great leaders of our time.
Every great fighter is shaped by their life experiences, hobbies and personality traits. For Izzy, it was all of these combined that set him apart in the ring.
You see me try some that I've seen in cartoons or video games, and I'll pull it out in the octagon because I don't know, I can do it. You know, I blurred the lines between reality and fantasy. I am that line, the Last Stylebender.
Adesanya turned pro and fought in China. He was considered no more than a journeyman, someone whom the champions fight along the way for a quick win.
And the Chinese brought me over as a journeyman for their guys to beat up on.
But much like in an anime story, Izzy the protagonist prevailed.
But then that didn't work too well for them because I know and I beat up all their guys and decided, all right, it was a good time there. I enjoyed my time in China. It was it's something you can't buy, experience. When I was living in China, I lived in China for about a year, and I fought probably over 20 times. Because the way I fight smart. Like I said, I fought over 20 times in 1 year, and that's not a joke. And people think, oh, yeah, he was just fighting some bums. Like, no, I fought Philip and Linden, I fought Simon Marcus, I fought, what's his name, Gochang, one of their best fighters.
Izzy is rising through the kickboxing world. His name starts to ring bells. He's dispatching enemies in style. He's so good, the Chinese nickname him the Black Dragon.
They gave me a name, you know, for sure, Heilong. That means the Black Dragon.
Wow.
And they kind of just like put this narrative behind me for the Chinese people to back me up.
At the pinnacle of his kickboxing career, with everything falling into place, Izzy encountered a foe unlike any other, Alex Pereira, known as Potan, the Hand of Stone. This wasn't just another fight, it was the beginning of a fierce rivalry where bad blood would boil over and history would be forged. Their first encounter ended in a controversial decision, a loss Izzy didn't expect.
This guy, first fight in China, I thought I won. Anyone who's watched the fight, I thought I won. Yep. Even he thought I won until he got his hand raised.
But the glory fight, although you lost, a lot of people thought you should have won the decision.
We both knew, like, I hit you more than you hit me. Yeah, that fight, I felt like I won that fight, but it's all right. So, you know, it wasn't meant to be. Everything happens the way it's supposed to happen. I wasn't supposed to get that belt, and I'm okay with it.
There was talk, too much talk, about how he should have finished the fight, not leaving it to the judges.
I rocked him, but then from that wellness fight, I let some bullshit get to me. Just online, you know, like people in your life, it's not even online, people in your life saying, oh man, you know, you should have won that fight, blah, blah, blah. Guess you shouldn't leave it in the judges' hands. You know, they'll say some shit like that and it just seeps into you.
The internet got to Izzy's head, so when the rematch came the following year, he changed his fighting philosophy and didn't stick to his roots.
Ni hao, we're sure Heilong. Hey guys, my name is Israel Adesanya, and I've got a series of fight lineup, and this is my first one in Sao Paulo against Alex Pereira, who's a guy I already fought before. I'm in his backyard and I want to take it to him, so I want to, you know, come into his favela and slay him, you know what I mean?
I just went berserk. I started throwing bombs.
Izzy was throwing heavy shots and being rash, not quite like himself. He wanted to overpower Alex Pereira.
一个读秒，这场比赛佩拉只有8分，黑龙是10分。
Yeah, but second fight again, I'm beating his ass and he gets me.
But Alex's left hook found its mark, delivering Izzy his first knockout loss.
哦，左手摆拳，这道已经终结了比赛，裁判终止比赛。 佩拉实现了大逆转，真的是超级逆转啊！一个前手平勾，如果打下去的话，肯定是佩拉，肯定是黑龙获胜。我们看佩拉击倒对手后，还对着黑龙说着什么。
I woke up, I was like, oh shit, okay, let me try and get up. Fuck, my arms just felt like noodles.
But then losing the next fight.
By KO. And I watched that fight back. When I watched it back, I was like, why are you doing this? Because that's not me. That's not me staying true to myself. That's
and
it.
Do you think you learned something in that fight about not giving into your emotions? And
yeah, after that fight, I shouldn't have given into people's opinions of myself. I should have stayed true to me.
A tough loss to swallow, but a lot of lessons to be learned.
you built up a lot of hype outside. You built up some hype kickboxing, you built up some hype in MMA, but you built up a lot of internet hype.
Yeah.
There was a lot of highlight videos made of you, and people like, oh shit, look at this guy.
We started to put a plan in place to get him into the UFC and to the stage that he is now.
Yeah, I took my time, fought around the world, fought different body types, different styles. And then eventually, I think the UFC were like, okay, what do you want? Come on, like, let's go. If you want to prove you're the best fighter, you have to fight people from other codes.
Right.
And this is at the UFC, that's the highest level.
With his mindset on being a world champion, the UFC came calling and Izzy answered. He burst onto the scene, turning the middleweight division on its head.
Big action. Oh! Knockdown for Adesanya!
And then came a defining moment. Izzy was set to face the man who inspired him on his current journey, the legendary Anderson Spider Silva.
So even at the weigh-ins, when I hit the Rock Lee stance, that was the one I hit. He stood there with his arms folded like Gara, and I don't even think he knows who Gara is. Hit this highlight up of just me and my Rock Lee stance and him as Gara, and just the similarity, like it was just supposed to be that way. For me, it was cool, and I'm like, man, I'm playing this shit for real.
Follow my instructions. You're gonna keep it clean, touch gloves, and let's do it.
Holy shit. I'm fighting Anderson Silva. What the first round, but something happened and you missed. Well, I know it looked cool. That's what, and it's those moments for me. It's, like I said, this was my title fight. I got to beat the guy that took me into the, inspired me to get into this shit. But moments like that, like I'm sure I've seen a picture already with me standing there with that stance, him right there, or those little moments in time for those. But I like to collect those moments, and that was a cool moment for me. History, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again. It wasn't just one of the best moments in my career. It's one of the best moments in my life. Yeah.
30-27 and 30-27 for the winner by unanimous decision, Israel Adesanya.
Izzy wins his match against Silva, and now, with the Spider stamp of approval, he goes on to dominate the UFC.
The UFC is his yard. Let's go.
Izzy has 5-round experience, he's got championship level experience, he's got all these things.
Right now it's all of it's nothing. Let's bring them destruction. It's like if they go forget.
There's that spinning back elbow.
Wow, it all comes down to this. The final 5 minutes to determine.
Oh my goodness.
Huge one. They're throwing. Izzy lands. Look, boom, left hook right. Best pound for pound fighters in the world.
He's beaten everybody, and he's beaten some of them twice.
Israel Adesanya on his way to becoming the greatest middleweight champion of all time.
But the past has a funny way of haunting the present. In a moment of youthful confidence, Izzy dismissed Alex Pereira as nothing more than a bum in a bar.
No one knows who the f he is, and he's gonna be that guy when I'm world champion, when I'm a legend. He's gonna be at some pub, talking some shit about, I beat that guy one time.
Those words spoken by a former version of himself will come back with a vengeance. They ignited a fire within Pereira, awakening a relentless warrior.
This man is a monster. One of the most feared strikers to ever fight in kickboxing.
Fueled by Izzy's dismissal, Pereira embarked on a journey to the UFC, determined to prove that he was far more than just a forgotten name.
After my UFC debut, he put like a contract up, like he's coming to the UFC as well. I'm like, all right, make your way up. I'll fuck him up.
Alex Pereira has done it again! And now, guess what? The boogeyman has arrived in the UFC. Alex Pereira!
You cannot stand in front of that man. I'm telling you, that's what this guy does to everybody. That power is different.
Oh my goodness!
The next middleweight title challenger, Alex Pereira.
Pereira's power was nothing short of terrifying, as he demolished opponents with ease. Whispers of their dark history began to circulate, stirring anticipation and setting the stage for an inevitable showdown. The past they shared was about to erupt into a present-day reckoning.
This next guy is gonna bring it, so that's why I had to step myself up and get to a new level, a whole new level for this fight. I've said less this whole fight. You know, he's talking, I'll show him. I don't have to say much, I'll show him. The fight's already sold. I'm the champion. He's chased me from kickboxing, trying to get this off me, but I'm like, all right, I'm gonna show you this ain't kickboxing.
Once again, the two would go to war, both familiar opponents. This was like an anime movie scene. It was meant to be.
So here he is, Israel Adesanya, on his way to becoming the greatest middleweight champion of all time. This man as a fighter is greatness personified, the ultimate example of a champion, always fighting the toughest guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening.
Izzy set the tone, dominating the fight on the scorecards.
Where the ear meets the...
Little slip on the fence spot.
Yeah. And here's more Izzy, beautiful right hand.
But in the final round, a slip in focus allowed Pereira to capitalize. A left hook followed by a barrage of punches ended the fight. For the third time, Pereira defeated Izzy, and this is the second time by knockout. A devastating blow for Israel, one that challenged him to his core.
And again, New York, beating that, rocked him, took him down, held him down, beat him, and he gets me. Fine, I was fine. And then for me, I just knew I can beat this guy.
Yeah.
It wasn't about proving it to anyone else, it was about myself. I know I can beat this guy.
But when a fight like that happens, just embrace the chaos, embrace the violence, and just watch it. Yeah.
In life, there are challenges we simply cannot outrun. Izzy knew this was one of those moments. Unwilling to back down, he demanded a rematch, willing to risk it all with his legacy hanging in the balance.
You can come through anything that's going to happen to you.
I mean, I feel like if they can't break me mentally, one man can't break me mentally. That's the moment for me where I'm like, either rise or run. I believe I'm gonna win, and I know I'm gonna win, but the thing is, when I say it, I know it. I know it.
Embrace the chaos, embrace the violence, and just watch it. When I gamble, I like to feel that pressure.
When I start to get my hands wrapped and I can feel the nerves come through, I just control it like a flame. You fan it properly, it leads to a way where it'll help you, it can be useful.
Bloody in this mixed martial arts arena and in the mixed martial arts world.
This time, Izzy knocked out his past, a victory that meant more than any before it. Not just to him, but to all of us watching. It taught us that no matter how many times life knocks you down, you can always rise again.
In his story, I'm the antagonist. In his story, I'm the bad guy. But tonight, it's my story. History!
Izzy reclaimed his belt, and for a moment, triumph filled the air. But the universe has a way of testing even the strongest. Just as victory seemed secure, another formidable challenge loomed on the horizon. Just after winning his belt back, Izzy would take up a title defense the same year against a tough opponent, Sean Strickland.
So what's the motivation?
It's not about money for me. Like I said, it's not about belts, it's not about money.
It's about challenges and history.
His next fight ended in a loss to Sean Strickland, a powerful reminder that wins alone don't define a fighter. There's more to life than victories. Recognizing this, Izzy makes a tough decision to step back, taking a break from fighting to recharge mentally, physically and spiritually. It's a move you can understand. After all, this is a man who's been relentless in his pursuit, fighting all year round as an active champion.
Even now, you know what's funny when fans go like, man, I hope you get that belt back. I'm like,
you don't need it.
Fuck the belt.
You don't need it.
Heads.
Yeah.
I've always said this, the belt means nothing. Yep. So when I got the belt finally.
After a year away, Izzy is back, fueled by determination and ready to settle the score with Dricus, who in his absence claimed the middleweight title by defeating Sean Strickland.
Israel Adesanya, get your ass back in the UFC so we can settle the score.
2-time UFC middleweight champion. To make it 3 times, that would be nice, but it's not really the main goal. For me, it's about beating warriors from different codes, different nations, like great fighters like Dricus is. You know, take them out, put them on my record, and move on to the next one until I'm done. That's what it's about.
After an intense battle, Dricus secures a victory with a submission in the 4th round, a crushing blow for the former champion. This marks the first time in Israel Adesanya's career that he's faced back-to-back losses. But in the end, amidst all the controversy, it's powerful to witness both fighters set their differences aside and show mutual respect for one another.
You guys love me. This is where I started my career in the UFC. This is where I made my dream. Right here in Perth. But look, I'm 35, I'm doing the right things. And I know all you want to see me lose, you want to see me down, but watch this. I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving!
Israel Adesanya has crafted an amazing career in the sport, delivering unforgettable moments that will forever be etched in the annals of UFC history. He's given us triumphs, heart-stopping performances, and a legacy that will stand the test of time. As we stand at the crossroads of his journey, we can't help but marvel at how far he's come. The question now isn't what lies ahead for the legendary stylebender, but how his story will continue to inspire generations to come. And that's a wrap for me, the Sagen here at Combat Inc. If you enjoyed the journey, don't forget to like, subscribe and smash the notification bell so you never miss out on our next video. Stay tuned because there's always more fire content coming your way. See you in the next one.